Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Today is, what is today? It's Wednesday. It is the 3rd day of March, National Anthem Day today. I'll stand for that.
Yeah.
Also, National Cold Cuts Day, National I Want You to Be Happy Day, or in my case, that's every day, because Heidi, I always want you to be happy.
Well, thank you, John.
National Mulled Wine Day, and Soup It Forward Day. So it's a day to give people soup. Sounds like a super idea, don't you think?
I give people soup all the time.
You do. You like to make soup. And you send soup home with people quite often.
I do.
You're like, okay, it's just me and John now. We're empty nesters.
And I made way too much
15
soup.
gallons of soup for some reason. Like you have one size of kettle. Is that what's going on here? You're going to have soup for a month? I've got a filmmaker joining me today, Heidi. Chris Johnson. He's got a film called Journey to Royal. It's a World War II story, true story, a relative of his. I'm excited to chat with him all about it in a bit.
Addiction. It's not a pretty thing. Addiction can lead to many problems in your life. Addiction can drive away those who love you the most. And addiction can lead to the loss of jobs, relationships, and even your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. They want to help. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by bettercreditcards.com. This, believe it or not, is a controversial thing to say, but I'm going to say it. A new study says support for marijuana legalization is growing. So there are more people saying, that sounds okay, than there are people going, you know what, on second thought, I don't think so. I do have a link to the study if you want to read all about it, and I'm not going to say anything else. We're going to move to the next one. A one-poll survey found that most Americans would choose to be what age? If they could pick any age for the rest of their life, Heidi, how old would you want to be?
27.
Wow. You're way off. 36.
What?
Yeah. So 36. And the reason people said that in the survey, they say 36 is the ideal age because you've stopped fighting the aging process, but you still feel young. So like you're all grown up. You're like fully an adult now, but you're not, old like we are. So where you wake up and go, oh, hey.
But if you're going to be the same age forever, you're not fighting the aging process anymore.
I suppose.
Your body still has some of that nice elasticity that you used to have.
Maybe you should have done that survey. It is surveys and studies and such.
You still have a metabolism.
Brought to you by bettercreditcards.com.
Do you have a credit card? We'd like to help you get a better credit card. If you don't have any credit cards, we'd like to help you too. At bettercreditcards.com, we have credit cards that offer different things for different people. Some cards offer points. Some cards are designed to help you build your credit. Bettercreditcards.com wants to help you get a better credit card, no matter what you're looking for. See if we can help you find a better credit card at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by timeforrehab.com. Quite often at this time, we share silly stories, people doing silly things under the influence. I want to remind you that addiction is no laughing matter. But when we talk about these things, we hope it can be a learning process. So today I have 2 really short stories that both have to do with drugs, but not our typical stories. So the first one says, custom officials seized 44 pounds of cocaine-covered cornflakes.
Whoa.
So somebody thought, well, we're going to smuggle these drugs. We're going to be so smart about it because we're going to just put them on cornflakes. But the drug-sniffing dogs didn't get fooled by the box.
Right.
So they tried, but not so much. And a new report claims that due to heavy rain and then due to drought, Jamaica is running out of weed. So two stories there. Like I said, not our typical stories, but I didn't know where else to put them. So here they are. This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by timeforrehab.com.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by channelsurfertv.com. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle may have to reshoot their upcoming interview with Oprah. So Oprah Winfrey did an interview with them. They recorded it in the past, and it's going to play back in the future.
Okay.
But they might have to re-record it in the future because since the past happened, something happened in the future that changed the entire interview.
Okay.
The Queen stripped them of their royal duties.
So were they performing royal duties
I
during
have
the
no
interview?
idea. I'm not sure. How does one perform royal duties?
I have no idea.
Is juggling a royal duty? I'm just trying to figure out what they're... So anyway, I don't exactly know what that means, but it seems very complicated. French actor Gerard Depardieu.
Depardieu.
Do you know who this is?
I do know who this
He's
is.
due in court after being charged with rape.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so I don't know what he's in, but trouble. I guess he's in trouble. That's one thing he's in.
Yikes.
Thanks for listening to Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
At WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com, we help you get ready for all the fun holidays throughout the year with fun, silly, and just plain weird gift ideas for your friends. If you have a friend who has a bizarre sense of humor, we've got a gift for them. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com posts a link to something that will make you smile each and every day. Whether you buy these weird gifts or not, it's worth checking out just for a smile. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now your scoop of the day, it comes your way, courtesy of RedCrossBlood.org. After 139 years at the same location, a home that was at 807 Franklin Street in San Francisco, it's a big 2-story Victorian house, is going to get a new address. They didn't change the address. They changed the location of the home.
I think it's so fascinating when they do this.
This is a big old monster. This home was loaded, a giant 2-story Victorian home, loaded onto some dollies and moved on Sunday to a location 6 blocks away. That's not a long ways to go.
No, but can you imagine moving a house?
No. And they moved it at 1 mile per hour. The house moving company had to secure permits from more than 15 different city agencies to make this happen. This particular move was a pretty tricky one, in part because the first part of the journey involved going downhill.
Wow.
Along the route, parking meters had to be taken out, tree limbs had to be trimmed, traffic signs had to be relocated. The owner of the 6-bedroom home paid about $400,000 just in moving fees and cost for the moving itself. So I hope they got a good deal.
You would think it would almost be, yeah, because you'd think it would almost just be cheaper to buy a house.
And sometimes it's not necessarily about, the cost. If there's somebody that says, I love this home, this is a beautiful home, and they're doing some redevelopment in that area, whatever, I could see that. But it's got to be quite the place. A warehouse worker in the United Kingdom allegedly punched the manager who let him go from his temporary job. So he had a temporary job. He got really frustrated and stressed out, punched the boss. A prosecutor said the accused man then pulled out knives and shouted at other employees, shouted, I'll cut you. Ironically, this is the part that makes a story, travel halfway around the world, because that probably happens all over the place.
Yeah, it happens every day.
I'm just saying, people, I guarantee you there are little fisticuffs that happen at jobs all the time. But here's the thing that makes it so ironic that he did this. His job was to pack stress balls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Pretty stressful job, apparently.
You maybe should have grabbed a couple of those.
Maybe. And snow blowers. They make it pretty easy to clear out a driveway in the middle of the wintertime. Maybe, get the blanket of snow off the sidewalk. But did you know they're pretty darn dangerous, too? According to government statistics, about 5,000 Americans go to the emergency room every year for a snowblower-related injury.
Yeah, I could see that. I wouldn't want to operate one. They intimidate me like crazy.
Yeah, I could see where, but you just got to be really, really careful. And then we got one last story we're going to get to here. This, I think, is interesting. If you have not taken your Christmas tree down yet, maybe you don't want to do that. St. Patrick's trees are a new thing.
Oh, wow.
It is the latest trend surrounding the holiday that's coming up here very shortly. And it's really easy. You take your artificial tree and you make some St. Patrick's adjustments, and bam, you are ready for the next holiday. So, it's a good idea. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Early to bed, early to rise makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. This is a great quote from Benjamin Franklin. At InsuranceChicken.com, we know a thing or two about great quotes. We help people get great insurance quotes every day. It's super simple and free to find out if we can make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Okay, I can't guarantee that, but I can assure you we'd love to help at InsuranceChicken.com. We want to help you pack out great deals on insurance. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday. Our guest today, filmmaker Chris Johnson. He's got a new movie out. It's called Journey to Royal, a World War II rescue mission. And Chris, this is about a relative of yours, right?
about my grandfather's brother, my great-uncle Royal.
And it's called a hybrid documentary. Explain that to me.
Well, we found that it was the most effective way to tell the story because the veteran stories were so intense that we felt we had to put the audience in the shoes of these people as closely as we could, bring them right along with the story. So we tried, very early on, we decided that the hybrid approach was going to be the way to go. My production partner, Mariana Tosca, and I decided on this format. And, we slipped as seamlessly as we can from these interview sections as the tension mounts in these different sequences. And we slip seamlessly into the dramatizations, the feature film parts of it. And it really, it helps to amplify and give the audience a feeling of how intense some of these circumstances these veterans faced. So that was the reason that we decided that this would be the best way to tell the stories, to help bring the audience along on these missions.
I love the fact that you're telling this story because here's the thing, if we don't tell them now, soon they will be lost to history.
John, sadly we're coming up on that reality that you're talking about. It's just a matter of, the human lifespan. It's just an unfortunate fact of life. I really think that we don't live long enough to pass on some of the most important lessons from just a generation or two prior, because pretty soon here we're going to be left adrift without any members of the greatest generation. I shudder to think how many are leaving us a day, and it's heartbreaking. And to try to hang on to some of that, the spirit of what they represent and the things they went through. People like myself and my production partner, we make films like this because we think it's invaluable, the lessons and the history, and it needs to be preserved so that people can learn about why we have the country that we have today and how important it is to respect and honor it and preserve the values that these people sacrificed in many, many cases, their lives to protect and uphold.
And I think it's really neat that we're all going to kind of get to know your Uncle Royal through this movie.
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up in that way because the film is the way that I actually know Royal. Obviously, he died at the end of the war, and he was on a rescue mission to save 9 downed airmen in the South Pacific. A B-29 called Dragon later had ditched, and 9 survivors of that ditching were in the open ocean in 2 life rafts, and Royal and his crew found them. The crew of the B-29 couldn't communicate their position because their electrical system had been out, which was the cause of the fire. But Royal and his crew found them, and we're in the process of rescuing them, and circumstances come about that caused him to lose his life. And he's the only person, he's the only casualty of that rescue situation, but he was able to, with the help of his crew, find those airmen, get them aboard, and they all survived, and he ended up, unfortunately, losing his life in the process. But what I learned through the people and the families of the people who flew with him in the squadron and were rescued by his crew, was that he was a remarkably talented flyer. He was, all the things that you hope somebody that you're related to would be. That he was well-liked, admired, and respected. And, I was able to share that with my extended family who didn't know Royal, and his daughter and his grandson. They get to know this other side of who their relative was because of all these people whose lives he touched during the service years. So it's just perhaps one of the most, if not the most important personal work that I'll ever have the opportunity to do in my life because of that family connection.
Thank you for all the time you put into this, and also thank you for your time today with us.
John, thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
I've got a link to all of the information in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Addiction. It's not a pretty thing. Addiction can lead to many problems in your life. Addiction can drive away those who love you the most. And addiction can lead to the loss of jobs, relationships, and even your life. Don't let addiction tear your life apart anymore. Get the help you need to defeat addiction and put the pieces back together in your life. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. They want to help. Timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In humans, the epidermal layer of skin consists of many layers of skin. It regenerates every 27 days.
The human body is
Yeah.
amazing.
So what I'm saying is, if you don't like the skin you're in, just wait a month. You'll have all new skin. I wonder how that works, though, because like if I have a little spot on my skin, that same thing has been there for a long time.
Right,
That's-
exactly.
So just the epidermal layer, apparently. So I don't know how that works, but now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Do you have a credit card? We'd like to help you get a better credit card. If you don't have any credit cards, we'd like to help you too. At bettercreditcards.com, we have credit cards that offer different things for different people. Some cards offer points. Some cards are designed to help you build your credit. Bettercreditcards.com wants to help you get a better credit card, no matter what you're looking for. See if we can help you find a better credit card at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for a news headline from somewhere in this world. Dateline Scotland. A Scottish woman bit off part of a man's tongue while they were in a wild street brawl. What in the world was going on there? Here's the weirdest part. I know that you're probably thinking, how is it weirder than that? You just told me a woman bit a man's tongue off. Well, only part of his tongue.
Right.
But here's the weird part. A seagull swooped down and grabbed his tongue.
Oh.
And took it away, so he never got it back. Not a good way to start the day. That happened in Scotland. It's a news headline from somewhere in this world.
At WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com, we help you get ready for all the fun holidays throughout the year with fun, silly, and just plain weird gift ideas for your friends. If you have a friend who has a bizarre sense of humor, we've got a gift for them. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com posts a link to something that will make you smile each and every day. Whether you buy these weird gifts or not, it's worth checking out just for a smile. WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. That's WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
Now some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Police officers hurried to tackle a supposed snake in a toilet in Czechoslovakia. When they got there, turns out it was not a living animal at all. They quickly eliminated it by pushing the little flush button. The police in this town said they had a smelly case to deal with. So if you just think for a minute about what this might have been.
Okay.
A woman was terrified about this snake that was in her toilet. She blocked out the toilet, waited anxiously, I can't speak, anxiously for the officers to arrive and rescue her. When they got to the apartment, they were looking in there to see how big this snake was. Turns out it was not a snake. It was something that comes from people. It was brown.
I get that.
It was not a snake. So I have no idea how she thought that was a snake, but maybe, I don't know. It's just a very disgusting story right there.
Wow.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh brought to you by RedCrossBlood.org. A Texas man has been arrested after authorities found homemade explosives in his home. 47-year-old John Christopher Crossan busted at 8 a.m. when investigators searched his home and they found several bombs. He's charged with making terroristic threats against a family member. Neighbors say he was going through a bitter divorce with his wife. Several homes in the area had to be evacuated as a precaution. The sheriff's office then said that they sent the bomb squad in, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives were also on the scene to help remove the devices safely. So that is really scary. That think of how bad that could have been.
It's very disturbing. First of all, how angry people are getting.
Well, just need to calm down.
All the time.
Everybody just calm down. That is never the answer, by the way. Violence is not the answer, so don't do that. Don't ever, ever, ever do it. Or you might end up right here in today's moment of duh.
Early to bed, early to rise makes you healthy, wealthy, and wise. This is a great quote from Benjamin Franklin. At InsuranceChicken.com, we know a thing or two about great quotes. We help people get great insurance quotes every day. It's super simple and free to find out if we can make you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Okay, I can't guarantee that, but I can assure you we'd love to help at InsuranceChicken.com. We want to help you peck out great deals on insurance. That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for Is It a Golf Course or Is It a Rehab Center? Brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. Heidi, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Gonna head to Hawaii, Turtle Bay in Kahuka, Hawaii. Is it a golf course or is it a rehab center?
I'm going to say it's a golf course.
Turtle Bay is a golf course. You get a golf clap today, Heidi.
Why, thank you.
And if you guessed it right, you also get a golf clap. Good job. That's how we play. Is it a golf course or is it a rehab center? Brought to you by TimeForRehab.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of bettercreditcards.com. And I think this is absolutely adorable. Now, I say that because I was not the one who had to, find these bears. But here's the headline. Gas leak leads homeowner to a hibernating bear raising 3 cubs underneath their home.
Oh.
So 3 tiny bear cubs successfully reunited with their mama. It was in a home in Tennessee. These bears were snuggled up underneath there. Homeowner noticed a gas leak on the property, called the gas company to get a line replaced. The repair crew arrived, and when they were crawling under the house, they spotted a large snoozing bear. They called the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency. Officers arrived on the scene, and they made a plan to get the bear to move along. The officers did not know there were cubs in there, too. The disturbance, there we go, caused the mother to flee the scene. That's when the wildlife officers discovered the 3 babies. Based on their understanding of bears, they believed that the mother would never return, so the cubs were safely extracted and taken to a bear rescue. So that's when the bears being cared for. Officers monitored the home in case the mother returned, and to their surprise, guess what? Mama did come home.
Oh, good.
So this all happened in February, the 16th of February, and they wrote, "Here's a reunion with mother." Right next to the impossible. So reunion with her mother was next to impossible. It's what they wrote. But it's adorable. These bears, baby bears, are cute. I would love to snuggle with a baby bear.
You don't want to get too close to one, but they're awfully cute.
Just for a couple months. And when they get a little too big. But no, when they're this tiny little bears, they are so darn adorable. If you've never seen a baby bear, I do have a photo. A couple of them, actually. They're in the show notes. It's follow the link at the bottom of the page. You'll find it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.